Hey everyone, it's Multimedia 7 here to do a channel message. I'll give it a few moments before I start and let some people come up in here. Come on in, y'all. Welcome in. It's so interesting. I was like, speak about this dream you had when you was around 6, 7 years old. I spoke about a previous dream that I had when I was younger. Um, Everybody's spiritual path is different. You know, a lot of my supporters know raised Christian, but because of cultural beliefs, I was raised up in many different churches. So I got to see a lot of different perspectives. Mm, 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 mm. Because this dream was like a premonition, a vision of some sort at a young age. And I did not understand what it meant, but I understood somewhat of the symbology. Now, I ain't even gonna hold you. Is symbology a word? Excuse me. Like, if it is, great. If not, just made a new word. If not, mm, the symbolic undertone, like in regards to the symbolic message of the dream, is very significant. Like I said, I grew up in many different worship settings, like different churches. I've been to different denominations. And even when I did venture to be around people of the same minority or cultural belief, when I came back to my, you know, relatives, intermediate, I realized, you know what, the dynamic of even what, I have in common, we have common in spiritual belief, Christianity, is displayed, social interactions and public displays, praise and worship, all that, right? I started to look around and be like, all right, so everybody else and their relatives seem to act this particular way, but you never know. You never really know because, so I always noticed that. I'm not the only person who noticed that. I think at a very young age, I was always very inquisitive. Like when things didn't make sense to me, I always needed it to be some sort of an answer, and that's why I really love. Uh, good day in the comment section is a really good day because I never felt the need to talk about this dream in particular, but like, hold on. There's a moral in the message, obviously, always. But I'm just doing a little introspection because there's a moral in that, always. So I'm looking at, other people, their relatives, and it's not to like look at other people, stuff like that. I'm just saying share similar values, belief systems, so on and so forth. But the dynamic is different between me, my relatives, and other people and their relatives. Understand it. Wow. Anywho's, that's gonna be significant after I tell you the narration. One moment. So let's talk about the dream itself and what it means. Because it wasn't that long of a dream. So the dream happened where it was showing like a open road. And if you're into the spiritual beliefs, especially in regards to Christianity, but you would know what open roads mean. Like financial breakthrough, no delays, prosperity, miracles, all those things, right? But then in the open road, you would see a vehicle in this dream, right? I saw a woman, not too, mind you, I had this dream around the time I was 6 years old or 7 years old. Back then, when I used to have dreams like that, I remember, not understanding the gift and understanding like, all right, God was preparing me for something specific in regards to even understanding the dream. And that was just at the very basic level. At that age, at 6 or 7, let's get into the dream because you're going to understand, right? So on that open road, there was a vehicle. The vehicle there was like a white box truck, not box in particular, but like a white truck. Why that's relevant is what I'm going to talk to you about. So in that white truck, in that vehicle, there was a young lady, not too much younger, not too much older than myself at that age when I had the dream, mind you. And she was in the back of the white truck. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't mad. She wasn't sitting down. What she was doing was there, those trucks that have windows at the back. The woman was looking out the back window, looking back. Now, in the Bible, it says a particular story where a woman was told distinctly, if you turn back, you'll turn into a pillar of salt or something like that, right? And spiritually, in regards to protection, salt is in regards to obviously protection. But in a negative connotation, it'd be like, what's that phrase they use nowadays? Like, oh, you salty, like no negativity. But like something like that, that phrase could be used in regards in the negative connotation. We rebuke that. But what I'm saying is, you look back at the past, like you want to go towards the past, then it's like, it's one or two things. Either, the people, places, things, scenarios that you leave behind could have been salty in a particular situation because you had to go somewhere, right? Because we was talking about them open roads in regards to prosperity, blessings, miracles, financial breakthroughs also. So why was this young woman looking out the back of the vehicle like that? And mind you, this dream wasn't that long, but the way I'm narrating, I need y'all to understand. So this woman was looking out the back of the truck, and what she saw, you really didn't see the perspective. It was like a third party perspective. You know that Gemini embodiment, lover, loved one, romantic, platonic, friend, relative, business partnership possibility. That would fall under the category of your seventh house placement. You can look into that if you like. Or you can contact me to read your birth chart if you like. Now, in regards to the dream, this one was looking at the back of this white vehicle, truck to be exact. it was made known that the person in the driver's seat was a Gemini male father figure of some sort. So back to that embodiment: lover, loved one, friend, relative, romantic, platonic, business partnership possibility. Keep that noted. Hmm. Yo, so as the dream, continues on that open road, you see the depiction of what's in front. Yo, this woman was being driven and to what's it called? The borders of Mexico. I know nowadays, from what I've seen on social media, you see more of like it looking like a toll booth of some sort when they go through there to, you know, I think you gotta be giving your info and stuff like that. I don't really know. So I don't really know how that goes about. But the picture kind of do look toll booth ish in the dream. Not in the dream, but like nowadays. Excuse me. Why significant is because in the dream, to get into the Mexico border, there was a gate on both sides, like the metal fence of reference. And I think that's kind of like a stereotype, but I guess it wouldn't have been a stereotype for me then because I ain't know none of that about none of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting because like right now, in regards to like I guess politics and stuff like that, they've been talking about. I seen online they've been talking about the president and certain things he's done in regards to I guess new laws he's trying to create or he has created. I'm not really sure. I didn't do my research, but they were talking about policies in regards to Mexico. Hmm. So I know, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was the first term or second term for the president, but when he did run for election, either one of those times, he mentioned something originally about the gate. What is gate in regards to the zodiac embodiment? Some people there's the gatekeeper, there's your guides. Your guides could be people in the physical, like that Gemini embodiment, or it can be also your destiny helpers. It can also be like God that you pray to and the divine help that He sends your way, spiritually or physically. Take the message how it resonates. But amen, I receive. Because oh my goodness, these I was so interested online that not too long ago where I saw them talking about these policies and stuff like that he was trying to put into effect. I think one of them they were talking about one was the gate I knew for sure from the election, but recently I was talking they were talking about some things about leg new law actually being passed where because of everything that's been going on in regards to people having to be separated from their families and go back to Mexico. That these new laws have been actually interfering with, tourism and also, just in regards to like the general living and population and things that's in that regard. Because if you're sending a lot of people back to a specific area that they weren't inhabiting for many years, the population goes dramatically increase. So like that's gonna like the whole economy over there is gonna kind of switch up a little bit, even if it's not like fast paced like that. So now what has happened is that like Mexico has I know this is just like what's it got to do with anything, but just hear me out. Now that like you know Now this happened basically. So now Mexico's putting in new infrastructures um in regards to, I don't want to say it like that, but like kind of making it a hassle for, American tourism in the country and, well, state, sorry. But it was it was a review that was very interesting where the person was like, I don't blame them, because if you do something to someone where, it forces them to readjust, and this is not like a readjust like a couple hundred people, this is a lot of people you're talking about. So it's just like I said, the economy, it's a lot to figure out. And then you, on top of that, the person who's trying to pursue you is trying to, put other people on to come to where you at. Yeah, I feel some type of way too, but like, neither here or there. So back to what I was saying about the dream. So in the dream, like this woman, it don't seem like she wanna go there. It's not like she don't want to go there, but it don't seem like it's her own free will to a certain extent. Because in regards to dreams we have spoken about, if you are not driving your vehicle in the dream, that means somebody else is like trying to either in your everyday life be in control, like manipulation, control, tactics, very much in regards to control. That is more of the embodiment of Aries in the zodiac embodiment, but in astrology, take the message how it resonates. I don't want to get too much into that, but mm, so like we said and understood within the American Heritage Society classes, that what that means in the dream overall. We know this now. So knowing that I had this dream around the age of 6 or 7 years old, that would mean that even in the physical, I did not have the authority to even drive a vehicle at that age, right or wrong. So that means I'd be under someone else's um authority in a certain extent, like, mother or father figure. So when I see this person that was driving in the car to go towards, that border, that I'm not gonna hold you. That's not, you know, I don't know how to explain. Like that's gonna be the first thing for my mind at that age to go travel out of my own free will to go to that certain place, right? And I know I've never been to that place, not yet at least. So the question then becomes why? Before you even get to that embodiment of a toll booth, God forbid, but I'm just saying to that metal fence. Because a fence is to either what? Gatekeep, protect, or to protect self, protect from outsiders. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's a new border, that's a new destination, that's somewhere very far from it. And then if you get into the spiritual then you get into the spiritual aspect of it, it's kind of like it's something about sexual arousal, like, and I don't even want to get into all that because if you know, like, so knowing that it was just me and that father figure supposedly in the vehicle, I'm like, all right, so there must be a reason. But spiritually, just spiritually, you know, I didn't understand now that I had the ability to see people doing spell work in the dream state. So spiritually, symbolically, not to be funny, there is a spiritual undertone of possible, witchcraft going on. This is somewhere foreign, distant. Not to say that either or ethnicity is not capable of doing either or. But this is witchcraft in regards of Santeria. Because I wouldn't know nothing about that at that age. That's not typically depicted from where I'm from. Not to say they don't do their own spiritual work of their own, but it's to call something different. Being 6 or 7 at that age, 6 would be in regards to the code, 7 would be in regards to partnerships, luck, fortune, things of that sort. I'm hearing right on time. And when I say like nowadays, because of what's going on in regards to politics and stuff like that, if you see videos of the border entering Mexico, you see that there are long lines. If I really want to turn this to American Heritage Society message, but it's a channel message. To be quite honest with you, if you've seen what's going on, I don't know why this is significant, but you're seeing what's going on in the entertainment industry right now, and you know there's certain people, especially with this. Let me explain. Let me not get into that. There's certain people in the industry that, like the entertainment industry, that get into spiritual work, and you know a lot of people, and you see what's happened. You see a lot of people after that natural disaster. I'm not gonna say nothing about it because every time I mention a natural disaster, somebody want to keep playing. But for really, they was paying around, I think it was like 50,000, 50 million. I don't remember how much. And I wondered when I seen that particular entertainer, I was like, so you just willingly donate all that money, and that is good. If I don't know if they live in that, like her people live in that region, but like when I seen that charity amount that she put into the funding to restore after the natural disaster, I was like, I don't know why. I was like, hmm. I ain't gonna say nothing else. So about this situation, but like, anywho, after that natural, excuse me, after that natural disaster happened, and then I started seeing politics and stuff like that, what was going on around that time until now, it's quite interesting. They want me to talk about it so bad, but then wanna make me. I, people are so interesting. People be wanting you to tell them what you know because they did something. They want to know you know what. I don't got time for the negativity. I ain't doing it today. Oh, you want to give me $5 you want to give me $5 in the comment section? Thank you. I receive it. Anyways, knowing the spiritual undertone of the dream, basically, like it's like, all right, somebody doing something weird, which got the center. I found out some other things, and I'm like, oh, because a lot of people, like to. I don't want to say not disclose certain belief systems onto other people, stuff like that. But this is what American Heritage Society is for, because then you can see the different perspectives and understand. Because when I understood some stuff, there's certain cultures that kind of so you gotta understand history. People always be like, all right, where did all I don't want to talk about that, but like where did all this different hues, I'll say that, different hues come from? And then they be like, all right, where's the significance origin of where certain people come from? And then but not to get into all that, like evolution overall. people had to come in contact with each other. People were just speaking different languages, but some way, somehow today, we are all able to coexist and, you know, things of that nature. So it'd be kind of foolish not to think that people of different ethnicities and cultural beliefs have not once came towards one another, possibly shared their beliefs and all those things like that. Where someone learns something, there's certain ethnicity, like there's certain ethnicities. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not American Heritage Society, but there's certain ethnicities they have come across each other and they share similar cultural beliefs and they have similar spiritual dealings. I'll say that. But what was so significant to me, because I mentioned, the nowadays if you see the lines to get to the border of Mexico, they're very long. But in this dream, in this open roads, it was so clear. You could see the arrival, but you wasn't there yet. Mind you, in the vehicle, this truck, there was no seats in the back. The only person who was sitting was the driver. So I say all this to say that, like, if I was at the age of 6 or 7, seeing a woman in this vehicle and she was just like around the same age as me, and it was just relative of mine, father figure, that was driving the car, and I know it's the spiritual intone of some possible Santeria, and I ain't have no seat. But why do something to that extent at that age? So here's the parallel. Because that Gemini embodiment, there's a parallel, because what did I say? The embodiment is lover, loved one, friend, relative, romantic, platonic, or business partnership, your seventh house places. So regardless if there was ever any negative intent coming from this relative, right? The parallel to that of what God actually wants for me, or God actually wants for anybody else that is his child, would be to be a lover, a loved one, a friend, a relative, a true relative, a good one, and so on and so forth. And if someone was to do any type of century on me at around the age of 6 or 7, and it wasn't for good intent, that's why he showed me the dream early. But the parallel to that is that I have a lover, a loved one, a friend, a relative that actually care about me. That actually, sometimes you come in contact with people, or sometimes you're born into um, a scenario where you either come around the right people, or the right people come around you at the right time. So overall, God sees all. And that was like a testimony in regards to being at a young age and now fully understanding the dream. Because what I couldn't make sense of before allows me to prosper now. Someone wanted you to feel, someone someone didn't take in consideration your feelings. Let's start there. Because that no having a seat was so symbolic in regards to somebody didn't want you to have. And they didn't feel any type of way about it. Someone turned their back on you, while someone was sent in to have your back. Because in third party situations, even when God is watching, God sends his destiny helpers. So even if somebody was trying to do anything of malicious intent, God sends somebody right in. Anywho's, I just had to share that message, honestly. It's something about a lover, loved one in regards to the Gemini zodiac and embodiment. The one that take you somewhere for their own intent. They want you to feel hopeless and not understand your surroundings and not understand that you are never alone. To understand that God wants you to understand that even when someone does you wrong, best believe He saw. In regards to me and my supporters, God can never see someone do you wrong and not bring you justice. And if you got the embodiments in your birth chart, it really be doing that. Yeah. What's so significant is that, I'll tell you guys something, right? In regards to your relatives, I learned. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna tell y'all the trick. I'll say that for American Heritage Society class. But all I'm gonna say is God will show you who a person is. If not to your face, like with the person, He'll bring somebody that embodies that same energy, because everybody is their own individual person, but you come around certain zodiac embodiments that have the same embodiment. So like, let me tell you, I came in contact previously with another Gemini, multiple Geminis at that. It's like God was like, I'm gonna show you something in so many different ways. Honestly, I like Gemini embodiments, pretty cool, dependent. But this person had did something in regards to that Mexico reference, I'll say. And when I noticed that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the person. But it's not just that's the person. It was like, you know, sometimes, like, I don't know, it's like this person did something to you and they thought this father figure thought they did something new and they thought they got away with it. And because either you didn't know or you didn't like suspect or anything you suspect. And then what God did was bring another person with the same environment so you can analyze the situation from a different perspective. When I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, how interesting. And it's kind of like this situation where it's like there's been these people trying to you know how like sometimes you not sometimes you know how you can pray against your enemies and be like, for protection. And then it's like I guess God finish off one enemies and another enemy that try to come up. No, 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 no. It don't work like that. That's a spell, and I rebuke that spell. We're not living in a loop. Like this person, God is not gonna like keep letting enemies like try and trample on you, do negative stuff to you. If anything, God gonna try to diffuse the situation, cancel, delay the enemy plan before it even get to you. So if we get to you, that means that this person really didn't wish you know that. And I'll go to God, I'll put a stop to that negativity. So it's funny I'm talking, I'm not funny, but it's interesting I'm saying that because I just did a channel message. But Either way, even though this is a channel message, you want to give me $5 in the comment section? Yeah. Anywho, so. Anywho, like what, like when that it's a loop, it's a spell. They keep if somebody did something to you and they still trying to attach themselves to your energy and harp on your energy harvest, whatever you call it, you and they think they get away with it. What God gonna do? Not specifically God, but what happens usually is that somebody with a similar energy of I don't want to say familiar spirit, God forbid, but like comes along and reminds you of that person that showed you a previous scenario before it tries to manifest to something else. You know, because God already protects, but it's like, do you want to keep going through adversity because you're not using your discernment? Like, God forbid. Because once you know, that's the first step to a spell being broke. Unless it's something else, but that's a different scenario. All right, that's the message.